Let's go. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
We're in person. Oh my gosh, first time in 4 weeks or something.
Yeah, it has been. It's some time. Three months, three and a half months, something like that. We're working out today. So good to see you, Kate. I mean, it's great that we can connect on Zoom, but it's a whole different thing to be in person.
Yeah. I've been out for a morning walk, meditation, all those good things. Nice to share it with someone and introduce all my new neighbourly friends and dogs to someone else. Anyway, gosh, last Wednesday of May, so we're kind of hitting around 10 weeks of this now.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And certainly noticing in conversations, people are feeling it, really kind of, I think some people have got used to it and are kind of, adapting quite well. For other people, it's really starting to feel like a drag.
Yeah. I mean, I think things are starting to open up. So let's see where things go, I guess. So final week this week, talking about using the body's intelligences. We've started talking about the whole cognitive intelligence, moved to the heart or emotional intelligence. Last week, we touched on the physical intelligence, which I guess really leads nicely into today's one, which was all around, the gut intelligence. And I know, I've spent years working with an intuition coach, which really, I guess, helped me build confidence, ironically, in actually trusting my intuition. And it is a skill. It's something that, we talked a little bit last week around the physical intelligence. And actually, if you're not connected and if you're not present, it's easy to miss the signals. But I think it's the same with your intuition or your gut intelligence.
Yeah, they're really beautifully connected, these two. I think that, if you become more astute and more aware of the body intelligence and you start to tune into that, you will naturally start to really sense and reconnect to that gut intelligence, because it's actually something we all, like core confidence, we all have. But, as life goes on and we become more intellectually oriented and we start doing, a lot of pros and cons, which can be useful in some situations, and we start getting very rational about the way we make decisions, it means we often override this gut intelligence. And that's a real shame, because we just know, we have this inner knowing. It's there, it's available to us. And particularly in times of uncertainty and chaos and that sort of thing, it's a really fast track. We can just get the intel, we can feel it in our sense, in our body. And usually the reason it's called gut intelligence is it's oriented somewhere around that your sort of lower torso region, that actual solar plexus from a chakra point of view. So it's a really powerful source of intel, and in the wild, that's what kept us safe. And in fact, humans have been relying on this for centuries.
It's like, I feel eyes on me. It's interesting because it's a mix. We often say, I fear this doesn't feel right. And so that kind of lends itself to emotions, but it's actually not. It's not an emotional piece. Yet that's the word we use. It's kind of a body piece for some people, but not necessarily. Often it's just and I think what's interesting for this one is you're absolutely right? The brain, the mental, the cognitive overrides it all the time. I always say you could pro or con anything to death and probably come up with an answer either way. What's fascinating, and as I started to build trust and faith in my own intuition and my kind of gut instinct, it's really helped me make quick decisions that I trust. And I think one of the things we talk about when we talk about core confidence is, this ability to make a decision and follow through and not overanalyze. We've all done it. We've made a decision and we're kind of moving forward, but we're still making the decision behind ourselves, thinking, is this the right way? Should I be going that way? And the hesitation and the frustration that comes with that. Whereas I think the more that you start to kind of really be able to hook into, yep, that's right, it feels right, particularly when the pros and cons don't stack up. And actually, there's another choice, which when you look at it from a cognitive point of view, makes sense. And I've seen this plenty of times, right, where I look at it and go, it looks really good, but something about this doesn't feel right. And I'm just going to trust that over anything else. And we see it in hiring decisions all the time. I think it plays out in the hiring room all the time. We've never hired someone that your instincts went not a good fit, and you've always paid for it.
Yeah, inevitably, that's the one that most people can relate to, or most people have had an experience with. I kind of knew it wasn't a good thing, whether it was a date we went on or it was, a friend that we thought was sort of like fit us in some regards, but just felt weird or just out of alignment in some way. And of course, the hiring piece. So we have this. We tend to think, oh, I, on paper it looks good or it stacks up in this way. And then, as Kate said, we start doing this second guessing piece. And that's really where we come undone, because actually what it means is we haven't had faith, we haven't had that confidence in our gut intelligence. And that can really let us down. And, we see this time and time again, people regretting almost what they chose when they knew in themselves. They really did at a deep level know what to choose, what was the path. And the second guessing or the unraveling or the, cognitive overrode it, and suddenly you're down this path, and then, oh, actually, I'm going to have to now get out of something that really I could have avoided altogether.
If I trusted myself. And that's the killer, right? That's the piece here, which is actually, and I think that's where the beating up piece starts to come in. And look, start small, like we say with everything when it comes to core confidence. I remember my intuitive coach saying, just do it on car parks or do it on small things. And it's fascinating. Even I went upstairs the other night and I went, oh, is the back door locked? And it just kind of popped in. And so I came down and of course it wasn't locked. And I was like, okay, yeah. And so it's actually number one, again, being present enough to be able to feel that and kind of go, that's unusual, and then follow through. And the more that you do that, what you do is you build trust and you get the feedback loop, which is, oh, okay, yeah, I can rely on that. I can rely on that. And the more that you do that on the small things, you start to be able to do it on the big things.
Yeah, it really is a practice piece. It's something that you just need to give a bit of space and time to. It's in there. It's there for everybody. It's not some magic piece. It's certainly something we all have. And absolutely, just start playing with it. Be a bit light, have a bit of fun. Just, can I just check in, or can I just see if I was right about this, or just make it something that you start exploring and experimenting with. And the more little experiments you do, the more feedback you'll have and the more trust you'll have in this inner knowing. And, it'll just start to be something that you rely on. And boy, I wouldn't be without it. It makes my life so much better, not having to overthink everything and overanalyze.
Yeah.
Not saying I don't do it 100%, but definitely it's taken out a huge amount of time.
And I think, as we close, this piece around actually being able to rely on all four. And so that they will talk to each other and they'll back each other up, and you'll find evidence of what you're feeling or connecting in with one will be often reinforced in another. And so by being able to leverage, right, more information means better decisions. And so this is the opportunity, rather than relying on typically what we do, the cognitive or the mental or the brain intelligence, being able to leverage all four intelligences. That way, more information, better decisions, but most of all, just really being able to trust yourself and stay connected.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite topics. Could talk about it forever. Really encourage you to read the chapter in the book, really get connected, experiment, play, and that thing about really use them together. Start just noticing things and then acting on them and seeing what happens.
Cool. All right. Well, we've got a big day ahead. Lots of filming, so much fun. But look, next week we're going to talking about personal brand. Yes. One of the things that's really, we've been talking in lots of, different forums, networking, all sorts of things around, this has been an amazing opportunity to build brand. I think we've got a really interesting 6 months ahead of us. So the month of June, we're going to be talking all about that. Of course, haven't got a copy of the book, coreconfidence.com.au. Have an awesome day, guys.